Hello, dear friends. It has been such a cold week here this week. The winter weather has finally come and plunged the whole of London into a bit of frost. As you can see, I still have my winter decorations up, and I do normally like to keep them for just a little while longer than maybe most other people, but I do find that they bring a sense of comfort and warmth in this often cold and busy first month of the year, when the world outside seems to begin to rush once again. I have also finally finished my puzzle and now need to find a place to put it. I really do like how it turned out. This week, I have really felt the need to take things slow instead of rushing, and I really wanted to find some ways to appreciate the beautiful moments of wintertime, as we've had some beautiful days recently. I got very much inspired by one of my favorite books, The Diary of an Edwardian Lady, and the descriptions, drawings, and poems about nature by Edith Holden made me want to venture outdoors immediately to find all of these intriguing birds and plants she describes. I have also been trying to be more observant on my nature walks to see what kind of plants are currently growing in winter. And surprisingly, there are actually quite a few plants growing right now in my area that are both edible and also full of nutrients. And with a little knowledge of foraging and getting to know your area, there is a lot you can find. For example, did you know that dandelion leaves are edible, very good for you, and actually grow all year round? And also this gorse flower, which can be made into a sweet syrup. Something else I really love to do on quiet winter days is some cozy activity where I can repurpose something I already have and make something with it. So today I'm making a few more little candles from these leftover scraps of old candles. I try to be as resourceful and sustainable as I can in my home, and I love being able to reuse and repurpose things, especially when I can make something very useful with it. And candles are always useful and also very comforting. On such a cold day today, and really needing a little pick-me-up, I decided to make some gingerbread cookies. Something about the spices of the ginger and the cinnamon are just so wintry and comforting. I feel like very often, with the start of the new year, we may sometimes feel that we need to do like others around us to get things going, get ahead, start rushing, and not really taking some time to think on what it is we really need or want. And I found that sometimes there is no need to rush, and that slowness, rest, and learning to be more mindful can be very productive indeed.
Hello there everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. It has been so cold here in London recently. It has been really cold. We've been waking up to about -5 degrees Celsius for the last week and a half, if not more. If winter was not here in December, it's definitely here now. It is absolutely freezing. I'm sitting here with a cup of tea. Although we haven't had any snow here in London, but I'm pretty sure some parts of the northern UK have definitely had snow. But we haven't had any. But it's been really frosty and just, yeah, quite magical outside. And I've really been enjoying walking through nature in the mornings. And on my way to work, I also go through my local park. It's a big, beautiful park, and it's just been so lovely just walking around and just appreciating all the nature and just seeing all the activity and the little animals and birds who are all really active, especially the squirrels who are all looking now for their nuts that they buried earlier, and it's quite amusing to watch. And you may have heard in my videos that the sound of parrots, perhaps, and that is indeed true. We have parrots here in London, so they are actually wild. They're called Indian ringnecks. They're really beautiful birds, and they're completely wild here in London. There's thousands of them. They've just taken over the London parks, basically, and they're so amusing, and they're very cheeky and very active birds. They're really loud, and it just amazes me how they are managing to survive in such cold temperatures here. It just fascinates me. I know that in the summer we can get really hot summers here in London, so I'm sure that they absolutely love the summer here, but in the winter time I'm just always fascinated by how they are so active and, you know, surviving and thriving and just just going about and doing their thing. I guess they live in big kind of groups and probably keep each other warm, but it just always fascinates me. But yes, so in this video I just wanted to share a few things that I have been doing this week to kind of help myself feel a little bit better, a little bit more positive. January can be such a dark and cold time for many of us, especially in the northern hemisphere, and it can be quite a miserable time sometimes, certain days. So I have just found myself doing little things this week to just try and help myself and my mental state, and just to feel a little bit better and positive. Starting off the new year and with my school and my students, there's just suddenly been so much to do and so many things going on. So I've found myself just really wanting to slow down and find ways to appreciate the little things and just to find some beauty in any slow moments I have during the day, and just to find a little bit of that winter magic. I found that it's really helped me this last week to just kind of take a breath and be able to just slow down and enjoy this kind of January, despite the cold and the dark. And yeah, one of the things I've done this week is I've been gathering some pine needles and made some lovely pine needle tea, which was really nice. Actually, it was very tasty, especially with the cinnamon in it. I really like that. And yeah, I did get a few questions regarding pine needles. All very good questions. Of course, I know some people are concerned regarding the safety of pine needle tea. And I did actually write a post about it on my Instagram, which is a little bit more detailed. However, pine needles, generally almost all types of pine needles are considered to be completely safe to drink as tea. They have been drunk this way for hundreds of years by both Native American peoples and peoples here in Europe as well, especially in the Scandinavian northern countries. And they've been drunk for a long time, and pine needles are full of vitamin C. The tea is considered to be really good for when you have a sore throat, cough. It has the qualities of being an expectorant, which means it's a plant that can help basically clear your airways, to help deal with things like mucus, sinuses, and all kinds of breathing and coughing issues. So pine needle tea has been considered to be really wonderful for a long time. The most common pines, I think, in North America is considered to be the white pine. And in the UK, Ireland and Scotland, I think we have the Scots pine. So they are the most common types of pine and are considered to be completely safe. And then, of course, there are a couple of types of trees which are considered toxic. For example, the yew tree, as well as the cypress tree, I believe. So they are definitely toxic and not to be drunk. However, saying that, these two toxic variants do not look anything like pine needles, so they are very easily distinguishable. And pine needles are all, for example, round and they grow in packs of 2, 3 or 5 needles normally. So they are also quite distinguishable, and most types of pines are completely safe to drink. However, of course, always do your own research. I personally researched the type of pine that I found growing near me, and I checked on a few different sources to make sure that they say that that type is safe to drink. And I would recommend for you guys to do the same if you are worried or not sure. Always just read up on a few different sources, not just one, to make sure that the plant around you that you're planning to or thinking of trying or consuming is safe. So it's always best to read up first if you're not sure. So another thing that I enjoyed doing this week was I actually opened up some of my herbal books, and I was looking at some of the plants that are currently growing around me, and just seeing what they are, what they can be good for, whether they're edible or not, and just kind of learning a little bit more about them. I find it to be such a good way to firstly not only get to know what is actually growing around you, and there is actually surprisingly so much growing in wintertime, in the cold months, than you would expect, even here in London. And it always surprises me when I go on my walks. I always recognize at least a few different plants from my books, so it's really exciting. It's a really kind of good way. You feel a lot more connected to the land and the plants around you. So it's a really nice feeling to kind of understand what's growing around you and yeah, just what it is. And I have actually found this book a few days ago in the charity shop, which was a really cool find. It's called The Urban Forager, and it's just this little book, and I believe I think this is just for my area of the UK where I live, and it shows the plants that are growing currently in wintertime, and it also shows the plants for all the other seasons as well. So that was a really cool find. I think it was maybe £1 or £2 in the charity shop, and I was really excited to find it because it showed a few plants that I already knew were growing right now, but also some that I didn't know about. So I actually learned a few new things, which was really nice. So now I will go out and see if I can find those other plants that were mentioned. But yes, I think that if you can also get yourselves a little book to show you what kind of plants are growing around you, it can be really nice to firstly feel so much more kind of connected to what's around you, and also feel a little bit more knowledgeable. And there are so many plants that are actually growing in the colder months that are also edible and good for us and full of vitamins and nutrients. For example, rose hips, so full of vitamin C. But yes, so I think that's all I have to share with you for this week. And thank you so much for everyone who liked and commented on my last video with my body lotion bars. I'm really happy to know that so many of you liked the video and also enjoyed making them or were looking forward to making them. I was really happy to hear that, and I really appreciate it. This is one of my favorite recipes, as I mentioned. These lotion bars are just so creamy and soft, and I currently am using them all over my body, including my hands, because everything's so dry and cold. So I do really love that recipe, and I'm so happy that so many of you liked it too. So thank you so much for all your lovely comments and messages. I am wishing you a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video. Goodbye.